Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree if you are new here, and in today's video I just want to do like a little shop my stash, life update, just hang out, get ready for the day. So if you guys want to hang out and watch me do some makeup and listen to my cats be crazy apparently and chat about some life updates, then just keep on watching. So as per usual with my shop my stashes, I'm not going to be talking about the makeup at all. I will have everything that I used listed and linked down below. It's so funny to me because there used to be a period of time where if I was filming a shop my stash, like I knew exactly what I was going to be talking about. Where's it? Fucking hair, there it is. Like I knew exactly what I was going to be talking about, and I had it all planned out in advance and everything like that, which is still even more funny because I still plan out in advance what I'm filming when, but it's almost like now I just write down what I'm filming and then I just like completely choose to forget what I'm filming until the morning of, and then I'm like, oh my god, I'm filming a shop my stash and I have no idea what to talk about. So I have no idea what to talk about today. As you can see, I dyed my hair. Ironically, I'm filming this month out of order. I'm filming every month out of order, I always say that, but this video is in between two videos where my hair is not dyed, which is always so funny to me. It's gonna like bounce back and forth. But it's so funny. Everything's funny to me apparently this morning, but it's so funny because I, especially within the past like year or two, I've been very lazy with dyeing my hair. Like, there was a period of time where I always had it dyed. As soon as it started to fade, I was dyeing it again. And the odds were high that I was actually changing it completely. Like, I was color stripping it or bleaching it or doing this or doing that, and, you know, constantly putting direct dye on my hair. And then I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm fucking overdoing this all the time. Let me start using permanent dyes. Because it was getting to a point where like literally all I was doing was dyeing my hair red. And so why use direct dyes, which are great and they're beautiful, and I do really still love direct dyes. Like, I think that they're amazing, but they don't last as long as a permanent dye. And so I was like, why, if I'm always dyeing my hair the exact same color of red, why am I not permanently dyeing it, you know? Apparently I missed a little piece when I was straightening my hair, trying to flip out. Whatever. And here's the other thing too. When you dye your hair with direct dyes, your hair is bleached underneath. It's blonde underneath. It's blonder than this is. So it fades like completely differently than permanent dye fades out of your hair. This chunk of hair is really pissing me off. It fades like completely differently than permanent dye. Permanent dye will like kind of slowly, gradually leave your hair, and like this type of permanent dye tends to just like always leave my hair slightly tinted red, but it'll just end up brown, you know? Whereas with permanent dye, reds leaving your hair fades to orange, and then it fades to like a golden blonde, and it's just never cute, right? And so as I started using permanent dyes, I started, obviously because it was holding into my hair longer, dyeing my hair less and less and less often. And then I didn't hate the way that it looked when it was faded, so I just stayed not dyeing my hair. I think, yeah, go investigate that sound. I think in total, last year, I think I dyed my hair twice. Maybe 3 times tops if I dyed my hair like at the beginning of the year, but I honestly can't remember. But genuinely, like, I dyed it once in the summer, and then I dyed it once again before we went to New York in September. And then I hadn't dyed my hair again since just now. And my whole point is that I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And then I dye it and I'm like, damn, I look really good with like freshly dyed red hair. I need to do this more often, fully knowing that won't happen. That absolutely will not happen. Who knows though? This may encourage me to do it more often because I'm gonna have to keep on top of the roots. It may actually force me to do it a little bit more often. But it's such a process. This was even more of a process this time because all I wanted to really originally do, and as you can see, I fucked up down here. You can't see it when it's all together, but there's a little chunk down here that I accidentally got red dye on the bleached parts, but whatever. Originally, all I wanted to do, because I had trimmed my hair, so I had trimmed off a lot of the lightness that was on my ends that had been there forever. And by ever, I mean probably about a year. All I want to do was like lighten my ends back up. Just lighten up to about here. You know, that's all I really wanted to do. And I horrifically overestimated how much bleach I would need. So I had so much bleach. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do money pieces. It'll be great. It'll be divine. Actually, if you look close enough, you can see that they're not even because I literally did it. Didn't even change my gloves, just grabbed pieces of hair and just went for it with no regard for anything, really. And actually, I really like it. I like the way that they look, but the first round wasn't good enough. It wasn't blonde enough. I had missed some spots on my roots because, again, I just kind of did it so, like, sporadically, just last minute, didn't plan for anything, like, literally was done with it, and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? So I'm walking around my house holding this piece of bleached hair, looking for foil to wrap my hair in so that it didn't make contact with the parts of my hair that I didn't want bleach on. Originally, I was like, okay, I'll just bleach it again. It's no big deal. And then I was like, no, I have this like high lift golden blonde dye. I'll just do that and I'll put it on my ends as well. And that should fix it. And then I ended up just bleaching it again. I don't really know. I think it was just easier, honestly. Mostly because I didn't feel like at the time like I needed to do anything to my ends. So all I really wanted to do was fix that. So I was like, I can measure out like 2 tablespoons worth of bleach. It'll be easy, right? I fucking love formulas that are 1-to-1s because I can measure that with anything. I literally grabbed a tablespoon that I have set aside for hair dye purposes, and I literally mixed 2 tablespoons of bleach up, and it was the perfect amount. And I let it chill for like 20 minutes, and it was great, and it was divine, and I loved it, right? And I was like, okay, now I actually have to like dye my hair and finish the job. And so I did that last night. And by the way, what I did was I actually took, which you can see a hot spot right here because I had a little bit of the blonde in with what was being dyed red because it's next to impossible to get every single strand of hair that you need to dye separated. And I just took a pump of my conditioner and I just drenched the blonde part in conditioner, wrapped it up in a piece of foil so it was safe, and just clipped it off. But between setting up the bathroom, like, you know, with towels and mixing the dye and, you know, all that, between setting that up, putting it in my hair, and then cleaning, obviously, and I sat down for maybe 10-15 minutes. My hair lifts really easily, like really, really easily, and color-wise I was changing my hair, but I wasn't lifting really any of my hair. My hair is not much or any F at all lighter than it was, so I knew that the dye would partake rather quickly. You know, I sat for maybe 10-15 minutes total, immediately getting back in the shower, and I'm the type of person that I'll do like the part of the cleaning up while I'm in the shower, like all the clips that I use to portion out my hair, I'll just clean those when I'm in the shower. So I'm sitting there, you know, in the shower, still all clipped up, washing off all the clips, and then standing in the shower for 10 minutes, rinsing all of the dye out of my hair, and then I have a color sealer that has to be in my hair for like 10 minutes, and then you rinse that out, and then you shampoo your hair, and then I have okay, can we not? And then I have like a after color treatment that again has to be in the hair for like 10 minutes. And I did the after color treatment when I bleached my hair because it's like a hydration bond building situation. So the first time that I did it, I was like, let me clean the bathtub while I'm in here waiting, you know. So I'm in there scrubbing the walls and spraying them down because I was already in there. Why not, you know? And then, so I didn't have any, I didn't have any of that to do when I was in there. My everything was already cleaned. I'm just like sitting there in the shower. I think the shower in total was like 30 minutes long. Which I do just want to point out, by the way, that with POTS, a 30-minute long shower is literally hell. Not a fun experience. My heart rate was through the fucking roof. That's why I kept sitting down while I was waiting. Like, I shaved my legs sitting down. I didn't even really need to shave my legs, but what else was I supposed to do, you know? Just sit there and stare at the wall. And then I get out of the shower, only to realize that earlier in the day I had folded all of the laundry, but I had just left it in folded piles on the bed. So I had to put all of that away. And my hair takes approximately 87 years to film, approximately 87 years to dry. So I just like chilled. Wow. I just like chilled for a couple hours, and then I was like, fuck, I really have to go blow dry my hair. And so that was more standing, and my body hurts today is basically where I'm going with that. And so I keep saying like, oh, maybe the money pieces will make me dye my hair more often, but then I think about the fact that it's just such a tedious process. But I also absolutely refuse to go pay to get it done when I can do it myself. I also have a strange fear of the hair washing bowls, but that's also partially because I have pre-existing neck issues. So laying with my head in that fucking neck, the hair washing bowl really fucks up my neck, and then I think about those people that had like strokes because of them. Don't want to build this up anymore in the center, or do I like it like that? I think I like it like that. Okay, I'm gonna go do some shit. I'll be right back. My cat was screaming like crazy, so I just did my creams off camera. So now that I've spent, you know, the first 10 minutes of this video, or however long of this video, talking about my hair dyeing process, which is just so thrilling and exciting. What else has been going on in my life? Not a whole lot. Last time I did a Shop My Stash was more of a kind of almost formal one, I guess you could say. I was talking about how I had graduated out of NOCD, and I had I honestly don't remember what all I said in that video. It was mostly just about the fact that I had graduated out of NOCD, and I was back in therapy with my old ED therapist to treat the ARFID, right? Which is great because now, since I'm back with her, well, I guess I should say in the time when I wasn't with her, I learned new things, such as the fact that I have ADHD, which also obviously plays into the ARFID, and like, you know, sensory things with food and stuff like that. So that is obviously helping our treatment, like helping my treatment as well. And also just like executive functioning issues, because that's what I was starting to have a lot more of, even more so than like OCD compulsions around like being scared that a food was going to make me sick. I was having more like just general executive functioning issues, like just getting myself to actually make the food. So that video came out in the middle of February, which, knowing me and my filming schedule, I actually likely filmed that before my mom came back to work after her surgery. So things have changed since then. One thing that I think is just like super interesting, and I know I talked a lot about it quite a bit in that video, and I've also just talked about it in general on my channel over the past, you know, 3-4 months, is just like I knew that I had gotten significantly better with my OCD, but I also knew that I had backslid. Not a lot, but I definitely backslid when my mom had her surgery and I was running the show in 15 different ways. And like, it was one of those things that like I was very much aware of it. You know, I had talked to my therapists, both my NOCD therapy and my ED therapist, I had talked to them about it, and like I'd even talked to a friend who's in school for therapy about like, is it common to backslide when you're kind of graduating out. And it's a common thing, and also like I had a lot of outside stressors, of course. So it was expected that I backslid, but one thing that I found just like so interesting was so my mom came back to work like whatever the first Monday of February was. And I was actually not originally going to be off that day. I was going to open with my mom because at the time she couldn't really she couldn't do a lot of lifting and stuff like that, right? So I was originally going to open with her, and then my husband was going to close the store, and it was going to be totally fine. And then my mom decided there was a really bad storm that came through that day. So my parents decided that they would rather it was going to be a slow work day anyway, that they would rather just cover the store the whole day and have my husband and I stay home so we weren't out driving and stuff in the storm. I went from I would not say extreme compulsion by any stretch. I was not nearly as bad as I was for even a couple months prior. But when my mom had her surgery, I was kind of at this point where I almost allowed myself the grace of engaging in compulsions because I had so much other shit going on, right? That I almost kind of let myself take that off the plate. I knew what I was doing, and I was kind of I was still slightly doing ERP, but not to the same extent. And like I said, I was allowing myself to engage in some compulsions. A big one being I was back on my not being the first one to eat something shit. And again, a big part of that was I knew throughout the time that my mom was off, I was the one opening the store. And it's not exactly easy to call out when you're the opener. Unless you know, the day or night before, it's not exactly easy at 2, 3, 4 in the morning to be I can't go to work, So that was the one thing that I was aware that I got pretty compulsive about, was whether or not I deemed a food safe, and really only engaging with safe foods because I didn't want to get sick, and blah 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 blah, whatever, same shit as always, right? Going back to what I found to be just so funny was that very first day, that very first Monday, my husband and I were both off, and I was gonna film in the morning, but that morning I was damn, I'm hungry, I just really want to eat something. And we had in the house a completely unopened gallon of milk and an unopened box of cereal. And without even a thought, I was entirely unfazed by the matter. I walked into the kitchen, grabbed the unopened cereal, grabbed the unopened milk, poured myself a bowl, ate it, went back for fucking seconds, and just kind of it was normal, because it is, obviously, that's normal. That's so normal to do. And it was one of those things, it kind of dawned on me a little bit later that I was oh, I did that. And that's big. But it was one of those things where I, my brain just unfucked itself the second it knew it was safe. From then on, it was just okay, well, if something happens, then whatever. I have coverage. I have people that I can call. I have, whatever. And if I get sick, I get sick, and it doesn't really matter. Which is always supposed to be how I'm supposed to feel about that. But, it was so interesting to me that it was my brain just clicked right back into place. And it hasn't been a thing since then. I'll have little moments here and there where there'll be a little a little itch, a little, a little something, which there's always going to be a little something, like I'm never probably ever going to be free of that little itch in the back of my brain that says like, hey, this, that little alarm bell is going to go off. But the way in which I respond to it now is so drastically different than it was even in January, especially drastically different compared to it was in 2022. Like, so the big fun thing now is just getting myself back in the habit of cooking. Like, I'm to the point where like my husband and I can like easily go out to eat, and I don't really think too much about it unless I start thinking about it, which let me elaborate there. Can we not do everything that we're doing? For example, if my husband and I are like, damn, we want to go get tacos, right? And that's the decision and that's it, right? And that's the plan that was made, whether we make it for the next day when we're off together or whether we make it for right then and there, like we're going, like right now. Literally won't be an issue. If we're like, what are we gonna eat, and it's a couple hours in advance and I'm kind of Googling around and I'm trying to decide and this and that, that's when I'll start to get a little bit like, I don't know, I don't know if I trust, I don't know, like I'll get a little bit, I keep wanting to use the word itchy. I'll get compulsive about it basically, and I'll start reading reviews and then I'll start writing places off based off of like one review and blah blah blah. My main issue now is like with the actual executive function to cook, and also the sensory issues, or the sensory experience I should say, that is cooking. A lot of the cooking that I'm doing now, unless I'm just like making something quick for myself at home, a lot of the cooking that I'm doing now is actually at my parents' house with one of my parents. Figured that that's like the easiest kind of stepping stone into it almost. Because I can make a meat-based meal, but also not be the one handling the meat. But like I'm still like involved in the process, right? I made a slow cooker French dip sandwiches. And like obviously I was, in the kitchen. Can you not, dude? You sear off the meat before you put it in the crock pot. And so obviously I was, my dad was doing that, and I was, getting the other parts ready that go in the crock pot with it and all that. And that didn't bother me. And even the smells throughout the house of the slow cooker cooking didn't bother me. I even it's whatever. I'm just gonna keep going. One of the steps, so like you let it cook in the slow cooker for a couple hours, and then you take it out and you thinly slice it, and then you put it back in the crock pot to finish cooking. And my dad and I both ate a piece of the meat then. It wasn't, it was fully cooked, but like it wasn't done cooking. And I was like so proud of myself that I was like, oh my God, look at me, like blah, 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 whatever. And then like a week or so later, can you fucking, dude, you're killing me. Like a week or so later, I went to go make steak fajitas. There's a lot more smells that happen with steak fajitas. This makes me want to die. There's just a lot more smells that happen with steak fajitas. It's also cooked on the stovetop, and I was like, my dad cut the meat for me, but that was all that he did. And other than that, like I handled everything, right? And just like, I think I just got overstimulated and also just like a little bit too in my head about it. I ended up walking over to my mom while it was cooking, because she just, she wasn't having any part in it. It was my thing, right? And I was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't. I had smelled the smells so much. Okay, just chew on your toes on camera. Just lick your asshole on the camera. That's so fine. I think I had just smelled the smells so much while I was cooking that by the time it got to eating, I was like, I've already consumed, basically, right? Like, I cannot do it. So that's something I need to work on. I'm doing better than I was. Okay, I'm gonna go finish up the rest of my face, and hopefully homeboy will be done by the time I'm done. I'll be right back. Of course, they just started gardening right there, right as I hit film, of course. But this is the final look. Wasn't a super crazy interesting video, but just a little life update, a little makeup, a little spring glam, a little, hey, here's my hair. My little money pieces are kind of curling in because I had it clipped back that way, but whatever. I am honestly, like, when I first started my hair and I first bleached out the money pieces, I was like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know. But like, now that my hair is completely done, I am obsessed with it. I think that it looks so good. It just came out way better than I ever could have imagined. I will still say that I feel like I don't love it when I'm not wearing makeup, just because I feel like sometimes the blonde can kind of like wash me out a little bit. But once like I'm completely like ready for the day, I am obsessed with it. But I'm gonna wrap up this video. I have another one to go film. Comment down below and give me a little update on your life. How are you doing? What's going on? I would love to hear all about it. Please subscribe if you have not already. It would mean the world to me. Like this video, ring the bell, do all the things. I hope that you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!